Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing uh, a tier list on the character demos, starting from the first release, leading all the way up to the most recent ones. Our newest ones being Yao Yao, and I'll hate them because this is post 3.4 update of Genshin Impact. So, starting right off, Kaya's is easily F tier. It was really uninteresting and just boring because he's Kaya was just not made to be an interesting character gameplay wise, because he's a free character. He's like the second or third free character you get. But yeah, they gave him like a mostly usual like attack pattern for his regular attack. He's at one part where he kind of like flickers out of in and out, which is kind of cool. But his like skill is like an ice mist, and like his burst is like the icicle spears that circle around him, which is kind of cool, no pun intended. But overall, he's just not that interesting. And they kind of just use his trailer to show off sceneries and stuff like that, and show off like, a couple of like switching characters and whatnot. But it wasn't really about Kaya for a character demo. We didn't know anything about him. We didn't see any like bit of his personality, like he liked to drink or this or that. So here, official, the princess in Ursulon or whatever she says, easily B tier. Her character demo was a huge step up from Kaya's. It's actually only in Chinese, which is pretty interesting. But other than that, her character demo really shows off her personality. She talks a lot. She says a lot of crazy things as usual. Uh, Oz is there. He like speaks a little bit. And it also has character demos with other characters are like infinitely more interesting when there's like interactions. Like Kaya's has like Barbara and Lisa, but they're not doing anything. They're just like switching to them and using like one of their skills. But Officials has Amber run in, and she like helps her out in a battle, which is like really cool, really interesting to see, like character interactions and stuff like that. So, oh yeah, and we also get to see like a little bit of like the ridiculousness and Official has all this mystery and everything, and she's saying all these things, but then like at the end, like Oz is like, "Oh, do you want me to pick up your salary?" Like it's like kind of goofy, so it shows like she's not all like doom and gloom. Like there's a bit of like goofiness to her. Moving on is Zhengling. I'm personally not that big a fan of Zhengling in all aspects of the character, but her character demo was definitely a huge step up from Kaya's. It was mostly the same, like showing off scenery, uninteresting attack moves, and but hers actually showed like we actually like got more of her personality. Like she's a chef. She wants to gather ingredients, make snacks, whatever. So we get to see a little bit more of that. And then Guoba at first is very interesting, but then like I think he's like terrible. He like misses. He shoots like 3 times and it's like useless. But like her fire like circle thing is pretty cool. So when they show off that and like the camera angles and whatnot, it's like pretty all right. A little bit better, a bit better than Kaya's, but nothing like Officials. Because Officials overall just a more interesting character than like someone like Zhangling. Moving on is Chi Chi. Chi Chi, more so the same thing. Like we did get to see a bit about her, like she's a zombie and everything. So like we got to know as much as like we could, because she has like the memory thing or whatever. So she kind of just says things. I like the cold better and stuff like that. But her attack moves just aren't that interesting. And like even though like her herself, she's a very interesting character, with the zombie and the adeptus and all that nonsense. But her character demo doesn't reflect that. And very much is boring because she has a boring voice. And it happens a couple of times throughout throughout the character demos. They give a character like a very like monotone, boring voice, and in one case it does work out, but in this case it doesn't. It just makes it like uninteresting because she's the regular sword swings, and then she's like, "Oh, hello there," and it's like it's like, bro, like get out of here. Like it's just not like you won't. It doesn't like suck you in. Moving on is Mona Magistus, the great astrologist Mona. Um, I'd say it's like B tier. She had a pretty good she had a pretty good character demo. It showed off her character, her personality. You know, she's like broke, she's like buying all these things for like astrology. But at the same time, she does mention that like astrologers have to give away their material wants and needs or whatever. But she's still like very much like all about her material wants and needs. We get to see like the Mona, like usual stuff. And there's a cool part in her character demo where she like traps like 4 enemies in like her burst, and then she like uses her like charge attack or something, and it like all like hits at like the same time. They all explode, and they like she like, kills them all at the same time. It looks really cool. Like I've never been able to do that, and I've had like Mona since like the beginning of time. Moving on is Keqing, Keqing, Kuching, whatever you pronounce that. The leeway names are really hard to pronounce sometimes, but Keqing is she had a pretty good character demo. Um, a couple of these had good music, like Keqing, Fischl, Mona had good music. The rest of these guys kind of eh. Chi had a pretty decent soundtrack, but Keqing, Faster Than Light or something like that is the name of her song from her character demo. A really good song. Shows off Keqing pretty well. She has a very interesting like attack pattern. You know, she has like the little teleporting move, and she has the really cool looking burst. You know, she like zips and zaps around. You know, speed of light. And then one thing that was really interesting is that I didn't see the Keqing character demo until like a year and a half, maybe 2 after playing. And you can use her skill to hit the eye of a ruin guard. And like me and my friend saw that, and he's like he like main Keqing since like the beginning of the game. It was like one of the first, maybe the first 5-star he pulled. And like we were just like, bro, like what? Like you can do that? You can actually like hit the ruin guard. You know, usually use like, the bow and arrow. So like really cool in the character demo. But yeah, overall really good, really interesting character. So it's easy to show off. Like it's easy to have an interesting character demo when the character is interesting and has cool moves and everything. Like as you can see, like these 5-star characters that are much more interesting or better than like these 4-star characters. Like Chi just has a boring voice. Moving on is Venti. As much as I like Venti, Venti's is C tier. Venti has like it's probably better than Jane. Venti actually has 2 character demos. One I believe is in Chinese and the other one's in English. Technically the Chinese one came out first, or Japanese, whatever language it was. It wasn't in English. The first one wasn't in English, and then during his first rerun, they redid it in English. But we're just gonna rank it as like order of release, like even though like we're not gonna rank like the Chinese or whatever other language it was, and then rank the English one. We're just gonna rank them as just one entity. But his character demo wasn't that interesting. Like he has a cool like move and everything, but like nothing really happens. Like it shows like other characters just to like promote like the swirl. Because some of these early ones like they were showing off like oh Kaya's you can freeze, and then like overload and Fischl's, and like Venti's was like swirl because it's old, and so it shows like a bunch of different characters and a bunch of like different swirls for his burst. So it was like fire with Klee, and then like electric with Lisa, and all this nonsense. But overall, he was just like fighting some like he was like playing music, and like it's just what was uninteresting. The music was just okay. There's nothing memorable about it. Like of like the Archons, he definitely has like the worst character demos because all of them are just like extremely like well detailed and put together. So I guess like for like just a character demo, it's not that good, and for an Archon character demo, it's terrible. Moving on to Klee. Klee, I think, is like the first character demo I've seen. Like when I was like playing, Klee's is like really good. It's very interesting. It like shows off her personality very well. She's very like cheery, full of energy. She wants to play, and like the music is really good. It very much fits her personality. The tone of everything is just like it's so cheery and upbeat. And then Jean comes in, and, you know, and she grounds her or whatever, puts her in solitary confinement, and she comes right out and she goes right back out to playing. And then yeah, it's just very scenic. Like she runs off into the sunset, and like a hilly troll is just like staring at her. She's like running past, and she's like running around with like the little girl run, because the little girls have like a weird run, like their arms are out or whatever for balance or something. And yeah, and then like her burst is like going off, just like blowing like enemies up, and like Dodoko and all that. It's really really good. It very much shows off how good she is, or how like fun of a character she is, full of energy and everything. Next up is Diona. You know what? Actually, I think Klee's is S tier. Diona also S tier. Um, Diona had a like had like one of the first like really really good soundtracks. Like Diona's like soundtrack was like phenomenal. It was so good, and like I rewatched it several times, and I'm like, bro, like I never built her, and then she's like interesting because like you find out like there's a bartender, she's a cat girl, like everything about her, like we find out right there. She's like Sundir or whatever, she's like so many different like character traits. All of it were in her character demo. Everything about her is in her character demo, and then we see like her like a little bit of her abilities. Like all the character demos show off abilities and whatnot. And yeah, she provides the shield and everything, and like little cat shield, and she throws a little like cocktail mixer for her ult. Like everything is just perfect, phenomenal. Might even be better than Klee's, honestly. It was just like perfect. And then like early game when there wasn't that many like ice characters, and like the Electro Fatui guy was like a pain in the ass to fight. This is before Ganyu and Eula and Ayato. Like this is like all these like good ice characters, like it was just like so hard to fight them. And then what's it called, in Diona's trailer she's like one-shotting his shield, and it's like wow, like it's just really good, really cool stuff. Next up we have Tartaglia, or Child as some would say. I'd say B tier, middle of B tier for Tartaglia. His isn't as memorable. Like off the top of my head, I can't even remember what his like soundtrack sounds like. The only thing I remember is he's like sliding down a waterfall, which is really cool. And he's like writing a letter and everything to his like sister or whatever. But it's like overall, it's not as like it doesn't really show off how interesting of a character he is. Like his character teaser was a lot better than his demo. Like his character teaser was like him and like the Fatui, and he's like shady, he's like killing people, and like he's like doing some wild stuff. But then there's demos just like him, just like yeah, I miss our homeland and the cold, and it's not as exciting here, but you can find some fun stuff. And he's like beating up some treasure hoarders, and it's just like there's so many like other cool things they could have had him doing. He's such like a tough guy. That's like his main thing, is that he's like extremely strong and looking to fight. Like they could have had him fight like anything more interesting, like something like stronger. Like what if he pulled up in his character demo and he's like fighting like the wolf or something like that, whatever his name is. Like if they gave him like a really, like I get that he's not in like Mondstadt, he's in Leeway, but like if they gave him like something like really really strong, or like a crazy amount of treasure hoarders, like if they gave him like anything that really like showed like yo, this guy is something, then it's like it would have been a lot better. Moving on to Xinyan. Personally, I'm not a fan of Xinyan, but her character demo was actually really good and showed her off extremely well. She's all about like rock and roll and like going everywhere possible, and like so, like it made sense for her to like join along in like the traveler's adventure. And not only that, but she had a really good theme, and it matched with their whole like rock and roll aesthetic, and like it showed off her abilities being like being a rock star. She had the guitar and everything, and the sound waves on her shield. And then she climbs up on the Geo Traveler's like construct, and then she starts like playing or like jumping off and like doing like cool like rock star stuff. And it's like, yo, that was like really really good. But then like I built Chi-Chi, and I had to collect all that violet grass. I wasn't gonna do it again, especially for like it's like garbage character, like physical fire. Like this just doesn't make sense. Zhongli, definitely top of S tier. It's like one of the best, maybe like top 3 character demos in the entire I think his character demo is the most viewed video on Genshin Impact YouTube as of this recording, at least. I think second is like the character miscellany, which explains how to play like Chi-Chi. I don't know why that's like really high up there. Like everyone like really wants to know how to play or something like that. Everyone lost, I guess, the 50-50 to Chi-Chi. I guess is the joke. I don't know. But every character demo that comes out, like the Zhongli character demo views go up because everyone like, when you watch one or two and then like you revisit some old ones, like, oh man, this one was so good, this one was so good, you always got to revisit Zhongli because his is like the best. Like it perfectly encapsulates who Zhongli is. He it shows him off as like this powerful god who's so strong. He has the meteor, he has the pillar, he has the shield that's indestructible. It shows a bunch of enemies wailing on the shield. Really, really cool stuff. Um, he uses his ult, the giant meteor. Everyone becomes petrified, and it there's like this like camera angles of like zooming in on like all the petrified like enemies, and then he uses like his skill, like the hold version where he does like the little like AOE attack, that where it gives him the shield and he like destroys all of them. Brilliant like writing and everything. And then his voice and him talking, like he just like says like such cool things. Like I wish not for Dominion, and like the final contract in Leeway is so cool stuff. And the song, of course, absolute banger. Easily S tier. Moving on, another S tier, probably second of S tier, third for now at least. Albedo. Albedo's character demo really, really like hits. Like the more I watch it, like it's just so like deep and profound, and it's like the essence of being, and the music and the way it like encapsulates everything, and then it like he's like it's like floating in the air, and like everything is like being shown, like chalk is like the essence of our being or whatever he says, and then everything just goes so far out there, everything just comes back together, and then we just see Klee, and then she hits the crucible or whatever, the camera, and like it's just so adorable because it really shows like what goes through Albedo, like what is like, it shows us a little bit of like the character and like how intelligent he is, and how much of like a kind of like a philosopher he is. But then on top of that, he's like the big brother to Klee, so he's like grounded at the same time, but he's like not like limited. Really, really like good character demo. Next up, we've got like the big three. We've got Ganyu. Ganyu's another extremely good character demo. She maybe not S tier, because she is one of those characters that has like a boring voice because she's like supposed to be like overworked and like tired all the time, so she's like falling asleep. But I guess you get some extra points because Chi-Chi's in there too. You have two boring people, it's got to be a little interesting, right? It cancels out. So her character demo is her like asleep in the field or whatever, enemies pull up. But her music is really good. Her abilities are kind of like okay. But it's not like Ganyu gameplay versus her demo is like very different. Like she looks a lot more interesting in her demo, but like gameplay is just like holding down charge shot. But then you're like you got like the ice flower, and then like the hail rain and all that. Like she looks really, really cool, but it's kind of is a letdown. And then she was like dreaming, and then she wakes up, and her and Chi-Chi are probably gonna fight the hilly trolls or whatever. And it's like oh man, like what is going on here? Like why did she dream about fighting them and then just wakes up with like a little zombie girl? And then don't touch my horns and all that. So we did get to see a good amount of her character because she fell asleep and all that. She's like overworked, and like her attack moves and everything, and but she's kind of just okay. But her music really does sell it. Xiao's bottom of A tier. I personally don't really like it that much, but it does show him off very well. His like karmic suffering or whatever it is, but it's just very emo. It's just very like I couldn't like enjoy it. Like it's just too emo. Like I had like I watched it, and then like my bangs started covering my eyes and everything, and like there was rock music blasting in the background. Next thing I knew, and I was yelling at my mom that she doesn't understand what it's like to have karmic justice weigh upon you or whatever it is. Maybe that's this guy. This guy's like, whatever. I don't know. Like, he's emo. I don't have him. I don't play him. I don't really like him that much. Him and his almond tofu is just like running around. But I have to see him every Lantern Rite festival. Just like, just started today actually, as of this recording. But he always comes around. He always comes back. He was really good in that one, in the chasm, in that like that story. But other than that, like it does show him off very well. But I don't like him that much. Too emo. Hu Tao, definitely top of S tier, or high in S tier. Like watching this character demo was like phenomenal. I probably rewatched it several times. And, like they just went completely hard when they were like making Hu Tao. Like they were in the studio for like 24 hours, like 8 days, like they spent every minute like fine-tuning Hu Tao's character. Picking out the perfect voice actor for like every language. Like hearing Hu Tao in like any language is like really good. Not even just their English. But they got the perfect voice actor. They've got like a cool moves, a cool looking staff. They've got like an interesting burst, like, you know, like transforms your like spear into like a pyro spear, and then like you have all these like moves and whatnot. She has a cool run. I think before Hu Tao, I think the only cool run was like or different run, alternative run, or whatever they call it, was Mona, because she like goes under like the ground, it's like water, and she's like swimming. Like Hu Tao has like little like butterflies and everything. But like there's so many cool things about Hu Tao. And then like obviously Chi makes a little appearance too, because like she just does that for a bunch of leeway characters, but she also like, it makes most sense in Hu Tao's. And it really shows off her personality. She's like all over the place. She's doing all this. She's like singing. She's like dancing, kind of dancing, and she's like got like the pose or whatever it is. And then like her moves are cool, and she's like just saying a bunch of things, and like it was just extremely good. It really like perfectly encapsulated who she was, and they didn't even have to like oh yeah, and like here's Zhongli as well, because like he works for her, and like it just showed off a little bit of Chi, and that's it. And like her fighting some Fatui and just doing stuff. Really, really good character demo. Next up is Rosaria. Rosaria is like another really good one. She definitely high in S tier, maybe middle of S tier. The main issue with her character demo is that it's too short. She's a 4-star character. 4-star characters are like a minute to like a minute and a half. Like 5-star characters are like 2 minutes. And like maybe 3 minutes depending. But like hers is just way too short. Like it shows her in like a very fast light. So like she's like everything in her kit is like really cool. Even her regular spear attacks, like she like slams her spear, which is like really interesting because everyone else is like lunging with it, or thrusting, I guess you should say. Yeah, and then she like slams it in like one part, and then like her skill, she like teleports behind you and like nothing personal kid, and like swipes you with like ice, and like her burst, like she kicks down an icicle spear. Like it looks so cool. Every part of her design and everything, her music too, like even like what she says, you know, like she starts like talking about like not praying for the betterment of others but for yourself. It's like, bro, that's just so deep and profound. But it's just like, it's just some tired chick, like. And also her voice isn't that boring for like someone who looks very tired, because she's like up all night or whatever doing like, you know, protecting or whatnot. Overall, just extremely interesting. She's in Dragon Spine, which is also talking about like the choir and the other nuns and stuff. Very, very good character. Extremely good character demo. Next up is Yanfei. Yanfei had a really good character demo. I don't like Yanfei, but like she had a really good character demo. It was again really short, a little too short, but I think we'll put her in A tier because it was too short, and kind of she was just like running around a bit. But like it, like, you know, she was like talking. It had a lot of like good voiceovers and whatnot. It showed her she's a really good idol animation where she like looks up in like confusion, which is like pretty good. We see like Chi running by, but like the music and everything It's really good, but it's just short, and she just doesn't have that much of an interesting moveset. She has that like volleyball spike, like when she throws like one of her fireballs, but that's like just kind of like okay. It's just like, oh yeah, it's like a volleyball, but like that's it. And then like the stamp thing or whatever lawyers do or whatever justice whatnot with her ult, but it's just not enough. But it is a really good character demo. It shows her off and everything. And anyways, you can always rely on me. It was a really good ending. It left off with like a happy note, which like most of them like they always leave off with like some random like phrase at the end. But that one was like a really like yeah, I guess I can depend on you, right? Next up is Eula. Eula was another really good one. Even better than Albedo's. Yeah, so like upper S tier for sure. Eula is like has like to start. It has like her dancing and like the music playing, and the music she has playing is like really like catchy and like fits her extremely well, and it's like very like I don't know, it's like very like noble because she's from like a noble family, but they like fell off or whatever, corruption and whatnot. But like it really shows how noble she is, and like she does like the dancing and everything to match with it. But then she has like really the voice lines for Eula are just like so catchy and so cool. She's like rack and ruin. It's like I don't know what the hell that means, but it just sounds cool. And it's like she's just so cool. Like just hear this yell, vengeance, and like it's really like fun to play character because she just yells so many things, and so like it really shines in her character demo because of like it encapsulates all that and incorporates like all the interesting bits of her, and like her moveset isn't actually that interesting. Like it's just her like swinging her sword, and then like her burst and her skill are the exact same thing. It's just her just swinging her sword just with ice this time. But like her burst, she gets a little sword in her back, the Lightfall sword or whatever it's called, and then you just keep attacking, build it up. But it's like it like looks like pretty cool when you like have all the editing and have all the voice lines and whatnot. Like she actually has a very boring like moveset when you really look at it. Like it's just like her just swinging her sword. Like that's it. Like there's no like she just puts ice on it and that's it. Like it's the same swing too. And then Lightfall swords appear in certain parts of them. That's it. Like but they still managed to make her really cool. And then Amber pops up at the end and she invites Amber to dance, and that's when we first see the girlfriend relationship between Eula and Amber, which is very much almost confirmed later when she like invites her to like an ice bath or whatever. Like, but yeah, Eula definitely extremely good. One of the ones I definitely rewatch every time. That's like one of the main things I'm ranking these by. Like these, whenever I rewatch like character demos every now and so, I definitely watch these. I sometimes watch some of these, even though I don't like really like Xiao's that much. I definitely do rewatch it here and there, just gotta get in touch with my emo side a little bit. Next up is Kaidehara Kazuha. I'd say like middle of A tier, because like the issue with his character demo is that even though it shows him off pretty well, he's like doing like haiku or whatever, and then like was that his teaser? I think he was doing haiku, yeah. And he was like being bothered or whatever, and then like he starts fighting people, and then Beto pops up and he starts talking to Beto, and it shows him off fighting, and then like his like burst, and then Beto's like skill. So you see like the like the parallels or whatever, like one's this way and the other one's going facing the other way, so it looks like pretty cool. But the issue with his character demo is that Beto stole the whole show. Like in the beginning parts of like early Kazuha was like yeah, and Beto, like, and so like Beto like really stole the show because there wasn't that much with her in the story yet. Like it was like nothing. And then so we got to see more of her, Captain of the Crux, we got on the ship or whatever, and we saw Kazuha. It didn't really matter, we still got to see Beto, because we knew Beto and we loved Beto a lot longer than we knew Kazuha. So then, it just didn't hit as much. But later on, like, Kazuha became, like, better and better, and, like, everyone found out, like, yo, this guy's kind of crazy, and, like, whatnot. But, like, in the beginning, like, especially on his demo, like, Beto just stole the show. Like, it's really hard to, like, give him like a good rating on like the character demo when he wasn't even like the main focus on this character demo. At least that's how I saw it. Like, it still was a good one overall. Like, he still saw him and his abilities and whatnot, and the maple leaves and how he looks Canadian or whatever. But like, we were there for Beto. Let's be real. Next up, we really get into the like Inazuma people here now. We have Ayaka. Ayaka had a like really good music. Very interesting. Like she had like some story aspect to her character demo because she's like talking about meeting the traveler. Because technically Kazuha is the first Inazuma character, but like he was like kind of like branded with leeway because he's on like Beto's ship or whatever. So this is the first like official real at the real like like Inazuma gang like people that we got, and like we take the ship there or whatever, and we're going to meet like Thoma, or we were with Beto and then we meet Thoma, and then Thoma's like, hey, come meet my lady, and then we we get to see like interesting part of Ayaka and her character demo where she's like sparring with Thoma because she wants to meet us, she wants to spar with us, and she wants to see what our abilities are like because she wants our help to save the land of Inazuma and whatnot. It was a very interesting, and like she has like really cool abilities, very similar to Mona where she can like swim under water or whatever, but hers is ice instead. And then her sword becomes like imbued with ice. Like there's just so many cool things to show off. She has a really cool pose when she uses her burst, and the music is extremely good. It's like lo-fi hip hop. It's like chill beats to study to and whatnot. Like she's just like it's a really good really good song choice, and it reflects later too with her brother Ayato. We'll get there when we get there. But yeah, overall, like story wise, like her character, showing off her character and her demo, like everything was just like really good. Next up is Sayu. Sayu's like in the middle because she's an interesting character, but her attack moves aren't that interesting. But her what's it called? Because it's like she's a small girl with a big sword, so she like is like falling over for most of like her like attack pattern. But the rolling around is like really cool, and like summoning the little like Darumuka or whatever it's called, it was like kind of like all right, but there's just not much to show off. Like if you showed her like for 30 seconds like on like her dash thing, it'd be pretty interesting. It would be pretty lame because you'd be seeing most of the same thing, and that's like the majority of her character. That's interesting is like the dash. Like her voice lines are pretty like whatever. She's like wants to go to sleep. She's like another tired, boring character. So it's already like you're already fighting like a very uphill battle, and then like on top of all that, you're just not that interesting. It's very hard to say, but it does like it shows her off pretty well because that's like her thing. Like she's tired. She wants to go to sleep because she wants to grow, but she's not growing. And she's also like a ninja and everything. Like there's like interesting aspects of her, but like they're just outshined by how dull she is. Next up, we have Yoimiya. I don't like Yoimiya, but her character demo was like unreasonably good. It's hard not to put her up here, honestly. Like I don't like her, and I don't have her, and I don't want her. I have like 3 thundering pulses, no exaggeration, and I don't know, but like her character demo, like it's one of the best. Like it really like it perfectly shows off who Yoimiya is. Maybe even better than some of the others. Like higher up than her. Like she's talking a lot. She's talking very fast. She's very energetic. There's a bunch of fireworks going on. She's like fighting. She's like with Thoma. She's with Sayu. There's so much going on, and there's like the camera angles. And it's like when Sayu pops up and like zooms in on her face several times. Like it's so energetic, full of energy. Like very much like Klee's, but Yoimiya is like I don't know, like the music and everything, like it all just like the mood changes and becomes very somber in the middle of her fighting, and like they just stop fighting and watch the fireworks. Like I don't know why, it's just so poetic, and it's just like you want to see this, and then she like does her own ult, Her ult's kind of like garbage, but like, you know, it still looks really cool. Like she's just like floating in the air, and like it was just so good. It really was like, yo, this is what you're gonna get, and that is exactly what you got. And Yoimiya wears very little clothing, and she really should wear a little bit more. Next up is Alloy. Alloy is like a joke. Um, her character demo is just, she's just not an interesting character, other than the fact that she's from a whole different game. But she's not an interesting character. She doesn't have interesting moves. She's like, there's nothing like really like redeemable about her. And like, I don't even remember if like another character popped up in her trailer, because usually if a character like pops up in another character's trailer, I think most of these have like another character at least like speaking in them, or like just someone in the background or something. But like, there's just nothing. There's no redeemable quality. No one wants to know more about her. She's just like around. She just got here. And they just made a demo for her. They didn't even like, you just got her for free. Like, no one really plays her. No one really cares for her. And the demo's just not that good. She's like, oh man, I found out a bunch of secrets from my world. Time to find them here. Look at bro, no one cares. Stop bragging. Next up is Kujo Sara. Kujo Sara is like character demo. I remember like waiting so long for the Shogun. Like I wanted Shogun so badly. Like I thought she looked so cool and everything, and her character, and like the more we played like Inazuma, the more we found out about her, the more she was like cooler and cooler to me. But Kujo Sara was just like, I don't know, like every 5-star character has like a demo, but before the demo is a teaser. And I felt like Kujo Sara's like trailer was just like a teaser for the teaser, if that makes sense. It was like another teaser for like the Shogun, because everything for Kujo Sara is about the Shogun. She's devoted everything to her. She devoted her whole life to her and everything, and to serve her and whatever, and she's like tall. But I don't remember how the music sounded. I'm gonna put her in A tier. Top, I don't think it's better than Yanfei or Ganyu. I'll put her above Keqing. Middle of A tier. Because those are things that her character trailer or character demo reflected. There are things that are true about her. She's like all about the Shogun and whatnot, and she has like some pretty cool moves. I'm not gonna lie. Like when I first got the Shogun, I was like, I don't care about Kujo Sara. But then when I used their ult and I saw that like C6 her was like a buff to electro characters, I'm like, tough. Okay, definitely gonna build her. And then when I saw her like skill, I was like, whatever, little flicker or whatever, and one little like lightning bolt. Yeah. When I saw her ult and I saw like just doof, 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 it's just like it just looks so cool. It's like it hits so many enemies, and like it like just breaks up like mob. It's like AoE control for like a non like animo character. Like she just has an unreal cool like look to her. When I really looked at her, I was like, yo, the mask on the side and like the wings when they pop up, just like Sephiroth. Like she just looks so damn cool. Like the more and more I played her and got into her, and like I don't have her built that well. I really should go back and build her. But like her character demo does well to reflect who she is. She is a cool character, and nothing compares to the Shogun. The Shogun is like definitely high of S tier. Like these, like the Archons are like really good. I'm like Venti. Like, oh man, she is like dubstep, like kind of like just music, and like she's saying like so profound things, and it's just so like cool to hear, and like your voice is just so like it's like the Raiden Shogun, so it's like robotic, you know, there's no emotion whatsoever. It's kind of like oh, the land and eternity, and then like it was just like it fits so well. And then like, you know, Miko's in it, and like the bird flying back and forth or whatever. It and like her moves, and like the camera angles, like when it goes like upside down, and like they just did so well. It was like perfect. Like I remember watching it several times when it came out, like rewinding it and just watching it over and over again. like waiting in anticipation for a character trailer or a character to be released, like 3 or 2 point whatever it was or whatever. But yeah, like Raiden Shogun's definitely one of the ones I rewatched. Inazuma shines eternal. Next up is Kokomi. Kokomi, I think, is like a garbage character. I think they ruined her. I think it's a waste of space and potential. I think she had one of the best designs of any character in Genshin Impact. Like maybe even the best. Like she just looks so cool. She has a nice voice. Her eyes, her outfit, the fish. Like it's all just really, really cool. Her homeland and her full name, like Sango no Miya Kokomi. Like that's just so cool. It sounds like a One Piece character or something. Which I mean, I guess Japanese, right? But what's it called? And anyways, like she's just really, really cool. But not only can she not crit, she's a healer. It's like oh man, like you really can't do much of anything. Like being a healer is like so lame. Like imagine like as like as like a man, like imagine like playing healer, you know? It's just I haven't built Kokomi, but like like just because I had her, like I wanted Rosaria and like she was on the banner and I wanted to C6 her and I ended up getting her and like it was a very like sad time. I wish I lost a 50-50, but I didn't and I got Kokomi and I built her. And then all of a sudden people are saying she's good with like Bloom and whatnot and Dendro and nah dude, come on. She's still lame. But her character demo is really well to reflect like the interesting aspects of her design, her location and everything. And her attack pattern's pretty cool too, because she's like like swimming around like on air. She's like a fish or whatever. But like her ult, like honestly to this day I still don't really know what her ult does. Like it just makes her regular attack stronger, but like I don't really know like when I activate it, I don't really know like when it runs out and when it starts and like obviously it starts when like the cutscene finishes, but you can't see anything and like the animation is cool and everything, and like the jellyfish looks cool. He's like swimming around. He's like huge. Like everything about her is like really really cool in appearance and whatnot. Like they did really well in that aspect, a little too well for it to be squandered on such a boring, useless play style of a character. And the jellyfish kind of sucks too. He heals really well, but he has like a 50,000 minute cooldown. I was like, what's the point? Like someone's gonna die by the time like I have to use it again. A real man's healer is Shinobu, but talk for another day. Next up is Thoma. Thoma is not bottom best here. Thoma is like middle. I think he's even better than like not better than the Shogun. No one's better than the Shogun. But Thoma's definitely better than like the other guys, because Thoma's like he's got good music. It's fast and it's to the point, and it's very similar in like if you listen to Thoma's and you listen to Yoimiya's, it's very similar, which is like funny. But like it just shows him like running around doing stuff, helping out, like him with the dogs and stuff like that. It's very like quick, simple. Shows him off extremely well, and like it's just a really good one. Like yeah, Thoma loves dogs and he's like got all these dogs and he's like looking out for all these dogs, and it's like he's like defending them and stuff like that. Like how he's like talking about housework and like talking about how he's from Mondstadt and like talking like giving advice for talking to like Ayaka and stuff like that. He's just really good. He's just like a very interesting character, perfectly encapsulated in his. I feel like that's the third time I said that word, but like they perfectly like. I can't think of another word. They perfectly show off Thoma and like most Thoma way. And he had a really good song on top of that. Supporting fire. Next up is Gorou. Gorou's I wanted to put him in B tier. We'll put him in the bottom of A because he's got a nice design. But Gorou's voice and everything, like it just doesn't do it for me. Like I just can't be interested in a character like him. Like he's too lame, too boring, he's too whack. Like he's like him and Kokomi are like they're just losers, bro. They were struggling. Like he's like the general of like, and Kokomi's like the leader, and Shogun's like the leader, and Kujo Sara is like the general. And Kujo Sara was like barely fighting that hard compared to like Gorou and Kokomi. Like they had like outside help. They had like Beto and Kazuha pull up, and like they had so many people just to fight off like Sara and a couple of her men. And then like Kokomi herself had to show up and help them out. Like imagine if Shogun pulled up, she would decimate them all. It'd be like fried dog and fried fish for lunch. Like it would have just been over. But yeah, he's just like his character demo was pretty alright. It shows him off in like some interesting ways, more so than the story did for me. I won't lie about that. But he's just okay though. Like like he's like little dog paw and like the little dog with like the flag. You know, rally to me or whatever. Maybe that's someone else. I don't remember who that is. No, that's Overwatch. But what's it called? But anyways, like he's just alright. Like he talks about being a good leader and everything, which is cool. This is like because he's kind of like a good leader. He's just not that strong. He's not leading like strong people either. But he did his best. And he's a good boy for that. Next is Itto. Much as I like all the other guys, Itto probably has the best character demo in all of Genshin Impact so far. Everything with Itto is just pure gold. They show him off extremely well every time. He's loud, he steals the show. He's funny, he's ridiculous. He's got cool ass design, cool moves. Every bit of his move, like his skill is him throwing a little like cow, and that cow is a geo construct. Like that's just so out there, but so cool. And then there's like goofy stuff going on, and him fighting Sara and losing, and then like his vision being at the bottom of the statue. Like this is all hilarious stuff that's like in his demo. And then like his when he pops his ult and he has that cool pose, and he has the giant club and he's just swinging it. He's just such a cool character. He truly is the one and only. Next up, we've got I didn't even mention his music. His music is really good too. But next up we've got Yunjin. And oh man, I just remembered. I forgot to mention that he's the voice actor. He's the same voice actor as Saitama from One Punch Man, and he does an extremely well job capturing the enthusiasm of Itto. But actually moving on this time. Yunjin, I'm a B tier. She's not that interesting of a character, and like her thing is like dancing and opera or singing, whatever. And I don't know, I just felt like it didn't come off that interesting. Like her song is really good. Her Gorou, at a certain point, like everyone's got like good music. I don't think there's anyone here off the top of my head that has like a bad song. Like at a certain point, like everyone just has good music. Like they really like stepped up their game on that. But what's it called? But like the music was good, and like she's kind of like alright, you know, just like opera, and like at the end they show like her traditional opera thing, but it's just not that interesting. And that's because she was a character that like they gave her like a really cool support role, like increases attack speed, which is like very interesting. Not many people do that. Like Amber's like ult does that if you have like C6, but like that's like her thing. Like, her support role is to speed up attack speed, where as opposed to like Sara and like Gorou like increase like Geo and Electro and Thoma. I think increases like I don't think it increases Pyro, but I think it increases like sword and spear users, like stuff like that. Attack speed's like very interesting, but like she just didn't like come off in an interesting manner. She's like an alright voice, like her design is kind of cool, but like she just didn't do anything. She's like just swinging her spear, just doing opera stuff. Like it's kind of like a dance. There's another character who's kind of like dancing, who has a very much better thing. But I think that's because she's a 4-star. They didn't go as hard on her. Next up is Shenhe. Shenhe is like middle of A tier. Mainly because for some reason Chongyun like kind of like stole the show. Like it was like our second time seeing Chongyun like in anything. I think he like was like in story like briefly for like a minute. He also got a hangout, but like no one really cares for hangouts. But like like he kind of like stole the show. Like he's like pulled up. He was like fighting people. He was like going in, and then Shenhe like saves him, and it shows off her moves, and her soundtrack is good. And Shenhe's design's really good too. Like he was a really cool like just appearance, and then she was a really cool character. Like she's not even like she's like an Adepti level person, but she's just like a normal human. Like that's like really interesting. Like she's like on terms of like Ganyu and stuff like that, but like she's just a person. Like she's just raised by like Cloud Retainer, which is really cool. She's got an interesting design. She's like the tired eye, but she doesn't have like the tired voice. So you know she comes across like way more interesting. She's just a little bit more like harsh in her voice, very like stern, and but she's like a little compassionate when she's talking to Chongyun, and then the Chongyun's like, "Oh, you're my auntie." So he kind of like stole the show. It's like similar to like Kazuha, whereas like Beto stole the show, and like, but she's not as like cool as Kazuha, admittedly, even though she's cryo, but she just did her best, and like she did have some really cool moves, and like you know a cryo avatar like going in like beating up like the Lawa churl, I think they're called, the giant ones, the Geo ones with like the big shield and whatnot. Cool stuff, cool stuff. Next up, Yay Miko. Yay Miko's is like extremely good because it really shows off her like cunning fox like nature and everything. So like there's so many aspects to her character. She's best friends with the Shogun, like girlfriends with the Shogun. She's the head shrine maiden, and she runs like a publishing house. So and she like messes with people. She like picks on people in like her free time, or even on the clock. She does that too. But all of this is like shown. Well, not like she's like girlfriends with the Shogun. You can see them like making out and holding hands, but like you know she's like the shrine maiden. Like some other shrine maidens like writing a book about her, something like that. And then she like tells the story in like a much more interesting way, and then it shows off her moveset, which isn't as interesting. Her moveset is not that good, but like you know you just it's like Kujo Sara's, but not as, I don't think it's as cool as Kujo Sara's. You get like instead of getting one that like separates and spreads out, you get like repeating like one, which is like kind of like all right. It does a lot of damage or whatever, so it's like can't really complain that much. Like I love Yay Miko as a character, but I don't like playing as her. Like it's just not as interesting. Even though she is like strong and everything, she's like really good. But like she just has very boring gameplay. And then like she doesn't have enough like voice lines to really like she doesn't have enough voice lines to warrant how many times you have to use her skill. Because you use it like 3 times and it's right here, right now, right here. And it's like it's like they gotta give her like 8 like different voice lines for that, because you have to reset them up 3 each time, every single like time, and then when you use her burst and then get reset, you have to do them 3 times all over again. Like, but in terms of her character demo, you didn't have to suffer that wrath. You didn't have to see that. You didn't have to see like the worst parts of her. You got to see the really cool like pose she goes into when she uses her ult, where it's like the electric fox spirit and stuff like that. And then she's got like little like I'm better than you like anime like older woman pose, and like it's like really cool stuff. And then like her like idol animation when she like does like little fan dance or whatever. It's really good stuff. Next is Ayato. Ayato is like I've rewatched it so many times. Like the song is really good. He is just a really cool character. And I've like when he first dropped, I lost a 50-50. I don't remember to who. I think it was to Mona. And then his rerun that just finished, I got C6 Shogun, and I was trying to get him, but I just didn't have enough summons in time. Like I couldn't grind enough. I missed out on him twice. I don't want to miss out on him again. But he has got one of the most interesting looking moves in Genshin Impact. His skill, he just like it's like him like standing in place, and he's like moving so fast that it's just like him just standing there, but you see like after images of him like slashing and attacking, and it's like it's just so damn like cool to see, and it's just like you can never get tired of it. And then like his like ult is like the raindrops, and like I think there's like after images stuff with him too. I haven't played him enough to know. At first I thought it was just raindrops, but there was like more to it. But then on his character demo, it gives us like story about him. He was like sending out the Shumatsuban, which is a bunch of like ninjas, including Sayu, to like attack like what's it called during like Inazuma, when we were like fighting the Shogun and like fighting the government. Like he was helping out, even though we didn't even know who he was yet. And like he was like assisting his sister Ayaka, who was like leading everything, and he was like helping out from the shadows. He sent the Shumatsuban to do whatever the hell they were doing. And then like the Fatui came to attack him, and he just beat the like he has so many cool voice lines, but he doesn't like he's not like harsh or anything. Like he just says it with like a smile, like oh, if assassinating me was that simple, like there's so many clans I would have had an easier time. Like he just says it like as if it was like a normal statement like anyone would say. And then like, oh, I don't keep the Shimatsuban from dealing with assassins. And it's like, bro, like he's just so cool, and he smiles, and he's drinking boba, and like his moves are so cool. His design is cool. And he keeps the boba in his sleeve. That doesn't make any sense. How does it not like? And his music too. It's like Ayaka's like lo-fi hip hop was like cool, but his lo-fi like beats to study to are like even better. Like phenomenal, bro. I've listened to it on loop for thousands upon thousands of minutes. Next up is Yelan, and hard to say because her character demo is another one that really captures how well it captures how perfect her personality is. It it's like mysterious, and she's like got this like gambler kind of thing going, you know, the strings and the dice, and then she's got this like jazzy kind of like what's jazzy? It's like it's like a 19 like 20s like mobster kind of like sound to it. Like it's just really like I keep saying really, but my first video. Don't blame me. What's it called? Her character demo's music. It just really I did it again. Character demo's music was extremely fitting. That's all I got. But what's it called? But not only that, like her moves are really cool. Like, you know, she phases like out, and she's just like this blue, like just ghost looking thing. None of the enemies can see her, and she like wraps her string around everyone and like pulls it or whatever. I don't know. I think like she just damages them with her string. And then when she pops her ult, the dice pops up, and she's got that cool pose. And her jacket is like tiny, and it's like on, but it's not on because her jacket is hanging off because the sleeves are like running around and everything, and it looks really cool. And then like the dice is like attacking, so she attacks pretty fast. She has a pretty cool looking attack pattern. I don't think I mentioned this, but a lot of bow characters like later in the game, they have like really like even like early on, like they have like really like cool, unique, special like attack patterns for their like bow, because it's really hard to like try and like make that look cool. So they really like some of them are like very much like exaggerated, like Yoimiya's and like not Faru's. Yoimiya's and someone else's like Child has like a really cool one. It's like the last one he like throws it, and that's like the strongest one because he's like so strong. He's like not adept with the bow. Like some characters, they just have like really cool poses and whatnot, like throughout different versions of their bow. But she has a lot of like cool poses. Like she has like the main like pose where she puts like her arms up or whatever. And, like I don't know why I just did it. Like, you can't see me, but like she does that like in one of her like bow like attack moves, and it's like pretty cool. Just overall, just really cool. Like adult like Xingqiu. Next up is Kuki Shinobu. Do I remember? Yeah, what was hers like? Hers was jack of all trades. That was your thing. Yeah. So her character trailer was not that good. Her character demo was not that good. Because she's not that interesting at first. Like her like little attack moves are like kind of like alright. Cause like the last like combo in her attack, like she throws like the several like it's like kind of like shuriken, and then like when she uses her ult, it's just like a bunch of like electro like chain link things or whatever it is, Naku weeds just like coming out of the ground, and like it's kind of just like okay, and like she like yells and everything, but it's just not that like intense. It's not that like cool. It just looks kind of just like alright. It's just another 4-star character. And then like the Naku weeds like or whatever it was like around her waist, like just like every few ticks, you know, it's like extends and does damage. Like she doesn't look interesting, and like her design is really good. Her music was really good, and like kind of showed off. And I keep my mask. She talks about like keeping her mask on so that no one recognizes her. But look at her, she's green hair. Like 2 people here with green hair. Not even the Dendro Archon has green hair. Actually, Xiao has green hair. I didn't realize that. But yeah, there's like 3 people with green hair. And like, bro, like they're gonna know you. And you're the only one from Inazuma with green hair. So like, they're definitely gonna know you. But what's it called? Anyways, like she's just... Like, the demo just didn't show off that well because her moves aren't that interesting. But like, in gameplay, her moves are really good actually. Or at least her skill. Her burst is still kind of like doo-doo. But like, her skill's really good. It has very high like ticks very often, I should say, and it just like it just heals for so much. And then when you have like C2 or something like that, like it lasts longer than the cooldown, so you can have it up constantly. And then like it's like made to like be on low health like Hu Tao, but she's a healer, so you can heal her up. It's like she's a really like good character. Like if anyone ever like people used to say she was bad, they're crazy. You know, and then they like change their mind now, like oh Hyper Bloom or whatever like Electro and like Dendro, because like her like ticks are just so fast, and you know it's always good to have a healer or whatever. But she's always been good. She's always been like very good. Like if there was a healer to play, you play her. You play her and you play Eula. Solid team. Not as solid as like Shogun and Eula, but that's just because Shogun and Eula are gonna kill literally anything. But like that's still like a solid team for like Spiral Abyss, like Shinobu and Eula. Then next up is Heizou. Heizou had really good music, really good like everything. I'd say he's the top of B or top of A. The only problem is he has like all these qualities of a 5-star. Like, you know, he's a very interesting character. He's a very cool moveset. He's very like unique. He's a cool personality and everything. But then he just had like a 4-star character demo. Like it just didn't. I don't know. It just didn't go as hard. They just didn't have like the animations and everything. Like, because some of these 5-stars, they start going in. They have like they have camera angles, like just like cool stuff going on, and like animations and whatnot. But these 4-stars, it's like they just record gameplay. like they don't have like anything too wild in them. And it really was sad for Heizou, because he was like the last of like not like the last of Inazuma, but like, you know, like he was the last character in Inazuma in that version before like all these Sumeru characters came out. And he just had like, there's just so many interesting aspects of Heizou. He's like the detective, and he doesn't like to fight, but he's really strong. Same thing with Hu Tao. She doesn't like to fight, but she's like extremely strong gameplay wise. And then like his moves look so cool. Like he's got like the like kicking uppercut, and like he's just throwing just like a really strong punch. He's just got like really cool moves, and he's just like punching in the air. But like they just didn't show it off that much, and like they just showed him like with the little like stick thing that like, you know, like detectives or police officers have, the baton or whatever it was. He's just like passing it around. I don't know what it's called, and it's like, man, it's so whack. They did him kind of dirty. I'm not gonna hold you, in like more ways than one. Like he was like the first like melee like catalyst, and then like Wanderer came out and just like overshadowed him completely. Heizou's still the boy though. Don't get him wrong. Next up is Collei. 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 Um, definitely an S tier character demo. She she came across very well. She was like the first of Sumeru that we saw, and she had a really nice design. Purple eyes would look pretty nice. She's got like the scarf and everything. Like her overall design is just kind of cool. But then there's nothing that really like stood her apart from like other characters. Kind of just stuck out because like even though all these characters stick out from like traditional like regular in the game characters like NPCs, uh, like when you like put them in a vacuum and it's just like all of these characters, it's like how do they stick out amongst each other? Like because when you have a bunch of interesting people, like when you compare like any one of these characters to like even Niloy, like a regular character in game, it's kind of just like damn, they stick out a lot. When you stick out these characters from each other, like how do they stick out from each other? And Collei didn't really stick out from anyone else that much until like you started noticing like pulling Anbar and like asking, oh, Amber, and then like next thing you know, like not like we didn't see Amber. We saw like Baron Bunny like dancing with Hilly Churls, and that's like it's just such an interesting like little cool thing to like have because she completely looks up to Amber, and then if you rewatch it, you start noticing like similarities between her and Amber, like you know like Outrider Amber reporting for duty, but then she says like Deputy Forest something reporting for duty, and then like Colin Anbar, and then this little doll, and like it has like little faces and everything, and it's like it's like kind of like Baron Bunny, and so I think it's like interesting to see how she was like so highly influenced by Amber that it like completely reflects in her character and what she says, what she does, and whatnot. And I think that's what makes her interesting because Amber was like a big part of her life that helped her like change or whatever. And of course, this is stuff you wouldn't know in like the demo, but you just see that like she like specifically like brings up Amber, asks the traveler like, yo, Amber, right? And like it's just a big part of it for her. And I think that's what makes her very interesting. Her music and everything is good, design, everything is good. She's the boomerang and fly, cool stuff. Next up is Tighnari. Getting harder to rank these like S tiers. It's hard to say like who's better than who because they're all like these S tiers are all like really good. Um, I'll put Tighnari here. It's like lower parts of S tier because like at first glance, Tighnari is just like a nerd. He looks like a nerd. He talks like a nerd. Sounds like a nerd. Like he is a nerd, but he's a very like cool nerd. Like he's just like he's very like snappy and like just funny. Like he's a very interesting character. I love seeing him like interact with other people. I love hearing his voice lines and everything because he's just a funny character. He says a lot of things. He does a lot of things that are just funny, and like he's a pretty good character like to play. He's got like little like ball thing and like he's like the charge shots that look really cool. He look like he's like fully charged like shots. So it's like dendro instead of like physical, and they look like it's a bunch of like grass or something around like the arrows. Like the way they like look, it just looks like it doesn't even look like an arrow anymore. It just looks like he's like shooting like a branch covered in like leaves or something, like vines. And yeah, his demo was just like him just like doing his normal work. Like he's just like making sure the forest is safe, and he's like checking out mushrooms. He's like fighting mushrooms, and he's like tripping on mushrooms. It was just like really interesting. Like you just see him like just tripping on mushrooms, and he just wakes up, and he's like, okay, so it's salty, and then it's this, and it's like, whoa, like what is this guy doing? He just tripped on shrooms and just started writing stuff down. Like cool guy, cool stuff. Next up is Dory. Dory's is the most like B tier demo that could possibly exist. Her demo, it's not that it's bad. Her demo is actually really good, but her gameplay is just so bad that it cannot make up for it. She's got very good design, very interesting character, like, all about Mora in like ways that like other characters are not. Like we had like two characters who Mora played a big part in their personality. That's Zhongli because he's broke, and Mona because she's broke. But Dory's like rich. She's like a business like scam artist and all this nonsense, salesperson. Really, really cool, really interesting. Good music, really like showed off her personality very well. She has a good personality. The problem is that she doesn't have cool moves. She has like a very boring skill and a very boring ult. Her regular attack is kind of cool because she like sits on like the genie, but it's all like very uninteresting. Like in her character demo, it shows her like doing the spinning attack like 3 times. And it's like, damn bro, like we only have her for like a minute and a half or a minute or however long it was. And she's like, she does the same move like 3 times, and it's like 2 times is like a main focus, and 1 time they do it as like a transition. But it's just it's lazy, it's boring. Like, they didn't try hard enough with her. They didn't do enough with her. And I have her built and everything because I liked her character, but like the gameplay is terrible. I don't think I'm ever gonna like play her again. Like it's so bad. Not even as like a healer. Like she's really bad as a healer too. I think you need like a constellation to get her for her to heal. I don't remember. Or like something. Yeah. Oh no, you get a constellation for her to not just heal but attack as well. Like really bad, bro. Garbage. Moving on from that mess, we have Candace. Candace is a huge step up. I think it's just A tier. I think I just like her too much. I don't think she's S tier. I think she's just A tier. But Candace is like another character that has a very good design. I play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! So like, you know, seeing the little like Millennium Eye looking thing is like really, really cool to me, you know, especially since she's like kind of like from like an Egypt part of the game. Her amber eye and everything. She just looks really cool. For some reason to me, she looks like a cat. Like just look at her. Like, she just looks like a cat. I don't think there's any like cat person yet. Oh, there's Diona. Diona doesn't even look like a cat. She just has cat ears. But Candace has a very like cat-like face. Like you can see it. Like she doesn't look like a cat. She just has cat ears. This is like what a cat looks like. Meow. But like but her different color eye and everything is like such an interesting like design. And then like she's like King Deshret or whatever his name is like direct descendant. And then like she's like protecting like Aru village, and like she's a really cool voice line. It's like a shield is not enough to protect. That's why I also wield a spear. It's like really, really like cool, profound stuff. But her gameplay and everything just it looks really interesting too. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. It actually looks really cool. It's not as good like when you play her. Like I built her and like I tried like 2 different builds, and I was like both kind of suck. But this one sucks less, so I'm gonna stick with it. But overall, like she's very cool in appearance, and cool in appearance really shines in character demos. Like in the zoom ins of her, like her voice lines, and like and her voice is really good too. Like everything about her is like pleases you until you actually play her, and then you're like let down. But in terms of demos, it's a very good demo, but it also suffers from the same thing as Heizou. It's like a 4-star demo, and it just gets held back. Like the reason why Thomas and like Collei and like Rosaria and like Diona, like the reason why these 4-star like even though they're 4-star like demos, they just did like really well. And some of these like they just didn't do well enough. That's why they couldn't like they can't like break the S tier barrier. Next up is Cyno. Cyno's is like I think like top here. Cyno's is really good, but he's got a boring voice, and like he says cool things. He has very, very interesting movements and design and attacks, and like coolest, like one of the coolest bursts. And like this burst does so many like, you know, it has like the claw thing, and like he's just really, really cool. He just got a boring voice, and so like he like talks monotone the whole time, which is part of his character. As of the others, but it's just like even when he's like your karmic sins weigh upon your soul or whatever it is he says, and it's like judgment be upon you. It's like it's cool, but it just doesn't hit as hard because he's just boring. He's got a boring voice. That's what like it's good for his bad jokes because it makes him even funnier. Um, because Cyno is hilarious, but it's like hilarious and like because it's not funny. It's like he's saying like bad jokes, but in such a serious manner. Like it's just a funny situation. What you're saying like isn't funny. Like it helps him in that case. Like to make like a good character demo, like everything he had was like S tier, but like his voice was just not good enough. Moving on from Judgment, we have Nilo. Nilo. Now this is a real man's character demo in Sumeru. This is like, man, like, maybe even higher than that. Nilo's like, I don't even like Nilo. I don't like Nilo as a character. I don't like her gameplay. Like she's just like kind of whack to me. Like HP Impact. HP Impact sucks, bro. Building Zhongli and Yelan and Hu Tao and the Dory and like, man, HP sucks. But she is still like really good. Just like water DPS, which is like, kind of cool. But because water DPS, I don't know what it is about water. Water's just like they're just fighting like from like the mud, bro. Like their resonance is like increased healing. Like that sucks, bro. Like they're just like doing their best. They're fighting from the bottom at all times. But what's it called? But her main thing is like she's a dancer, and it like her attack moves are exactly like a dancer. Like her fighting is like her dancing, and it's just so cool to watch. She has a cool theme and everything, and like she has a cool pose. It's like I don't even know how to describe it. She just like it looks pretty cool. It looks really good, and it just like her whole thing is like the dance and like the theater and like the demo was just her dancing the whole time, and it's her dancing, her fighting and her dancing, and then fighting against enemies and dancing for the people, and then like oh, where's the scarf or whatever? It's like, oh, like I left it in the desert. We'll figure it out. It's just like a really good like character demo. It shows like, even though I don't like her, it's like Nilo is like it shows her perfectly, and it's like, yeah, like I can get down with that. Nahida. The first part of Nahida's character demo is so good and wholesome, but personally, that like end of it, where it's like it's her like sitting alone in the dark and like I feel like they really missed out. They really dropped the ball on that one. They like, because it was such a good demo. It was so wholesome and perfect, but I don't know. They had to include like I get that's like a big part of her story and whatnot, but I think long term, I think it's kind of like lame, because it's like if you were to play the game like 2 years from now, and then you saw like that character demo, you'd be like, what? Like why did it change so much? Like you'd be so lost until you reach like like Nahida's thing or whatever. Like it's just like I don't know. I feel like it just like ruins the whole mood and atmosphere of what could have been like the most wholesome and cute like character demo. And for that, I think we're gonna put it in like E tier, because it's still not bad. She's still a really interesting character. She has a lot of cool moves and stuff like that. Maybe like here. Like, but they just ruined it at the end for me. They really soiled it. I don't even know what else to say. Layla, F tier. Worse than Kai. No, it's not worse than Kai. But Layla has it all. Got a boring voice, one of the most boring voices in all of Genshin Impact. She's got boring moves, like little sword swings, and then like she has a little ice thing, an ice shield that she lays down in and goes to sleep in. How do you show that a character is interesting when they have a boring voice and they are literally going to sleep in their character demo? They tried very hard. Like this is a 4-star character demo with like animations of a 5-star character demo, and because she's just so boring, and they have to really try and like show that she's interesting, but it still doesn't work. She's still whack. She does nothing, and she's like sleepwalking, of course, and that's all she has. Like she's just like it was just like a little funny at the end, and that was it. But like, there's nothing interesting going on. Like it's just her going to sleep and being tired and complaining about having to write papers. Like why would you even remind me of like having to do work? Like I'm playing a video game. I'm watching videos about a video game. I don't want to like think about having to do work. I'm trying to avoid that stuff. You know? So whack, so bad, terrible. Next up is Wander. Man, there's a character who's like perfectly encapsulated in their demo. Good music, ferocious, just very snappy. Like he's just always saying like some snappy thing. He's starting trouble with someone, and then like this is exactly what he did. Like some fatui. Like they weren't even doing anything like necessarily bad. Like they were a little forceful with him. Like yeah, you gotta show us the way, but like, but he's still like he just like beat them up. He's like to the point where like it was kind of insane. Like he beat them like kind of like senselessly. Like he's like floating in the air, like kicking them down and everything. And then like little bird that's like also in like the Shogun's character demo also makes an appearance in his. And then like yeah, it just showed him off very well, like his moves and everything, his personality. And he had like a whole like I said, the altercation with like the Fatui, which is like full circle, you know, like. And he even makes a note of that, like, oh man, too big, strong Fatui, like it's gotta be some kind of joke. But yeah, like, overall, extremely well. Like it's everything about him. Like, you know, the only thing that wasn't that it was missing is probably like calling him like Scaramouche because it's like such a cool, funny name. But other than that, it's the Wanderer. Next up is Faruzan. Faruzan, I like a lot. I don't. No, I think she's definitely high up here because maybe not higher than Zhongli. But yeah, I'd say higher than Yelan and Hu Tao. But Faruzan I've rewatched so many times. Partially to make this video, so I had it memorized. And just because it was really good. Like of all the characters, like she's probably got one of the best voices. Like I don't know who the voice actor is off the top of my head, but she does like a very good job of like really like being an like an old snappy lady with a young person's voice and like mannerism. No, not mannerism, but like a young person's voice, like old snappy lady mannerism and whatnot. Like, and it starts off so intriguing. Like everything starts off. All these start off kind of like all right. Like you know, it gets right into it. But hers starts off with like a couple of like strums of like some kind of like instrument. I don't know what instrument it is off the top of my head. And then it's just her yelling, no sense of respect, and she's just like yelling at like basically yelling at like youngins the whole time. And she's got like a great voice, like I said, but she's got like a great theme to match with it. Like it's like very like jazzy and everything, and it's like bro, this is exactly what like any like snappy person would listen to. Any like I forgot the word for it is like someone who's I don't know, like it's like it suits her so well, and it creates the funny dynamic of her being like an older, you know, calling me Madame Faruzan. Maybe I'll pick that up. And it's like, bro, like look at her, she's like 12, and she's like Hatsune Miku, like, and then like her whole thing with like shapes and stuff like that. And she has like the PlayStation controller, like X and circles, like or X and triangles on like her hair, and then like you know like the different like geometrical shapes and like her like moves like the prisms and shit. Like it just looks all so interesting, also cool, and it's like they perfectly put together like the Faruzan, and like she's like one of those characters that's just like threw in because like oh yeah like Wander is like Animo, and she's Animo support. I didn't even build her as support. I built her as DPS because she's just cool, and I wanted to use her on her own. Now onto our newer ones, recently released, because this is, as I said before, 3.4. Yao Yao. Man, Yao Yao. I just couldn't like, I couldn't hate it, but I couldn't like it. Put it in the top of B tier. Like, Yao Yao just, I don't know, she seems interesting, and you know, she's like cool with the like Adepti and whatnot. She's like just treats them as like auntie and uncle. Like, who are you? Like, why do you have all this like credential to do that kind of stuff? But then like at the same time, like she's just very like, I don't know, she's just not as interesting. Like, we already have a kid who has like something they're obsessed with, in like the same ways she's obsessed with Yuhan or whatever is the name of like the little like bunny thing she has. The bunny thing looks ugly too. It just looks so lame. It looks stupid. It looks ugly. It looks like a MIDI from Made in Abyss. Like it looks terrible. But like Dodoko, that's like it's like Chad Dodoko, and like what's the other one? Like, it's Chad and like, oh man, Chad and like, I forgot the dynamic. But yeah, Dodoko's just a real one, bro. He's like greatest to ever do it. Her trailer felt like a very off-brand version of Klee's. Like it still had good music and everything. Still like moderately interesting character, you know, with the adept eye and whatnot. But it just felt like a watered down Klee. It felt like Lee Wei's Klee. And it just like you can't have like repeating character. You can't have like repeating like instances of stuff like that. Because it doesn't work out well. So yeah, I couldn't get down with it that much. She's not in C tier because she's definitely got interesting aspects. Next up is Al Haytham. Last up is Al Haytham, I should say. Al Haytham easily shot down Wanderer. Honestly, he might even have a better trailer than Itto. Well, Itto is just a great character. Like Al Haytham by himself is not as good as Itto. But what made his demo, actually, I think in terms of demos, I think we'll put Al Haytham first. Because what made Al Haytham's demo so good is that we had 4 extremely different personalities meet each other. We had Tighnari, Cyno, Al Haytham, and Al Haytham's roommate, Kaveh, or whatever his name is. And Kaveh is like a very he's a very interesting person. I can't wait to see more of him and wait for him to get released. But Kaveh is like talking to Cyno and Tighnari at like a bar or something, and they're like talking about Al Haytham. And in the meantime, while they're like talking about him, they're showing off like Al Haytham's moves and stuff like that. And then it's just like like as a demo, it's so good because we got to see everything about Al Haytham, how interesting he is, the way he talks, the way he thinks, the way he fights, all these interesting aspects about him. But then we got to see what other people think about him on top of that. So we got to see Cyno, Tighnari, Kaveh. They all talk about Al Haytham and like to him, and while he's not there, and they're like, "Yo, how strong is he? He's pretty strong, but he claims not to be. But he's smart. But he claims to just be like, you know, it's a regular scribe." And so then like we have all these like different personalities seeing each other. And then there's one part that's really, really good. It really set the just set it in my mind. That was just like, bro, this is a phenomenal character trailer. It's got everything. It's hilarious. As when like Al Haytham's explaining something, and he's like, "Simple, isn't it?" And the camera zooms out, and then Cyno and Tighnari just look at each other, and then they just go, "No, it's not." And then like they just both like said it in like unison. And it's like, bro, this is hilarious. And Kaveh's just an idiot. He's like Itto, but like not as like Itto is Itto. And like it's just like all of these like put together, and Al Haytham is just calm, cool, collected the whole time as usual. Phenomenal character demo. Because of like, as I mentioned several times, like just the aspect of another person being in it, like really enhances a character demo. Honestly, we should put Yunjin higher up just because Zhongli was in it for like 0.2 seconds. But yeah, it really enhances the character demo. Now Haytham has 3 other people who are like chilling like with him, like talking, actually doing stuff with him, which made it really good. One thing I forgot to mention is that Miko's character demo also has, at the end, it has her in her fox form. I don't know why, but it felt very important to mention that. Like at the end when it shows like Genshin Impact, the game trailer, it shows her like resting on like one of the letters. It's very important, highly important. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this character demo. This is my first video, so my first like actual video that I've recorded with my voice and everything. I have a couple of other videos and shorts, check them out. You can, but Yeah, if there's any issues with like the mic, the recording, the audio, let me know, and I'll try and fix it before the next one. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day.